On today's episode of Chronically Will Podcast, you will hear from Big Will. Big Will is 66 years young. He is a retired military veteran and has been living with diabetes for over 28 years. Over the last 6 years, he has also lived with chronic kidney disease. And on a side note, Big Will is also my ultimate big hero, my father.
Yes, my name is Willie. I'm Will's father. I'm a father, grandfather, great-grandfather. Right now, I'm battling chronic kidney disease. I'd go to dialysis 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Other than that, I'm doing okay.
I say you're doing more than okay, because part of the American dream is to see your kids do better than you. And I know that just being who I am and the things that I'm capable of doing, that you're living an American dream. Because I know the lessons that were taught from day one, from both my mom and my pop. They didn't even have to speak them with words, show me with action. And I thank you for that, because if it wasn't for you, no part of me would exist. You just said you had chronic kidney disease. How long have you been living with that?
6 years now.
See, most people I know live with chronic kidney disease. After the 5-year mark, they're on a wait list for transplants. How are you going about that process?
Well, I'm on the list. I'm just waiting. Been on the list for 5 years. I'm just waiting.
What's the actual process? I know it's cleaning your blood, ridding of toxins. What is the actual process? What does it actually do?
It cleans your blood, takes the fluid off of you. That's what it's mainly about, fluid. Because if you have too much fluid on you, it's not good. You could swell up and it'll poison you. It's not good for you, a lot of fluid. So that's what it's mainly about, cleaning your blood and taking the fluid off of you.
I have a cousin that's 28 years old, and she's also going through dialysis. But upon starting this podcast, I said to myself, I want to have a conversation with my dad. That's just a brief introduction on to who my father is. He's a lover, he's a fighter, he's a healer, he's all of the above. But what I really wanted to get to talking about in conversations is just about who you are, not just today, but like your lifespan. Because I know briefly about my parents and about their history, but I don't know as much as I feel as though I should know. The book of your life stops at your parents, and I don't really know much about them. Because when I set out on this mission to create this podcast, I wanted to not only talk about chronic illness, but what keeps you going, keeps you motivated. And I know that has a lot to do with your background, your upbringing. So tell me history about yourself. I know you were born in 1957.
I was born in Cheapside, Virginia, a little town outside of Cape Charles, Virginia, in 1957, October the 5th, to Margaret and George. I guess they both was from Virginia, and I don't know how they met. I couldn't tell you that. But I know between them, it was 8 of us. My dad had 4 other kids, but between my mom and dad, it was 8, so altogether was 12 of us. My mom and dad had 4 boys, 4 girls. I'm the 5th of 8 children.
You being born 1957 makes you 66 years old. Six decades, 6.5 decades. You've lived through civil rights movement, through the assassination of some great people.
Yes.
Dating back to JFK, people who showed that they wanted to do things for communities of people of color. The lifespan of a king. If I can remember, your father, was he born 1929?
1929.
And you know how I remember that?
How?
Because Dr. Martin Luther King was born.
Yep, January he was born in
1929. So growing up, I didn't know much about my grandfather at all, but I always thought of Dr. Martin Luther King as like my grandfather, because that was who I knew. That was the history I knew of 1929, black man, taking care of his family, fighting till the end. Even after his short-lived 39 years, he did what he could for all of humanity. Every year I've always celebrated my birthday. I've always done something to honor Dr. King. A big part of that was just trying to keep the spirit of my grandfather within me. I didn't know him. I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, and my dad, he went to the March on Washington. The bus came by our neighborhood, was living in Jersey. They all got on the bus and drove to Washington, D.C. I wanted to go. I was about 6 years old. My dad said, "You too little, you can't go." I was crying because I wanted to go. I mean, everybody went.
That's probably the equivalent to young people back in 2008 when Barack Obama was elected. So many young people wanted to be there. It really gave more than hope for us. Being black men, black families, growing up in a modern society, knowing that people like my grandfather fought for things like that. My dad got to witness a lot of the tragedy, but also the triumph that occurred.
I remember days I was with my dad. We went to the place. I tried to go to the bathroom, had on there white only. I remember them days. Had a bathroom over there for us blacks, and it was so nasty you didn't even, I used to go on the outside and use it because I was not going in that bathroom. You go in the store, they used to call us the N-word, you know. My dad just looked at him. He didn't say nothing. He just looked at him and walked away. My dad was a God-fearing man. He was the Reverend George. That's what they called him. But he was him and my mother. Strong belief in church and God. And we all grew up like that. I went to church 7 days a week. I remember days I wanted to go outside and play. My dad used to say, "Nope, you can't go outside. We're going to church at 7 o'clock. But I look back at it, I'm glad they did that because it taught me a lot. Like I said, my son just said, I'm 66 years old. Never in my life have I been in handcuffs, never been to jail, never been locked up.
Considering you lived through a lot of trauma.
Right.
Just knowing great leaders, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Dr. King, that were assassinated right before your eyes as you were a child.
And I was coming up.
You saw the visuals of it on TV. Today, they blacken out a lot of those things for kids. Today, they talk more about trauma and how it alters the minds of people. But back then, trauma wasn't spoken about.
I remember when Kennedy got shot. We was living in New Jersey. We watching the TV, they just came on, Kennedy got shot, and they showed it when he got shot in the head. Something down in Dallas, Texas. I said, what? Kennedy got shot.
It's the equivalent of if I were, 5, 6, 7 years old and seeing Bill Clinton or someone get shot.
But I
seeing
was 6.
Barack Obama get assassinated, or if I were to see something like that, it would definitely change who I am. But it also may make you feel a certain way towards other people, towards non-black people, towards the government, towards anyone that doesn't seem as though they're fighting for you. We know with Hoover and the FBI, they did everything to keep us back.
George Wallace of Alabama, he was the same way. He didn't care about us.
Just because of the color of our skin.
That's right. But let me tell you this. Coming up, we didn't have the best, my family. But let me tell you something. My mom and dad made sure we didn't struggle. We struggled, but he made sure we had the best. And that's why I tried to teach my kids coming up. Hey, I tried to do for them, and they'll tell you, Dad didn't have it. They wanted it, Dad tried to get it. That's why I'm proud of them now.
Coming up, I didn't see any struggle at all. From the outside, people walking by, looking through our house, they could have sworn we were the Cosbys. Like our parents never showed us the problems that did exist because we're children. Those things didn't truly affect our movement. As long as we went to school, got our education, came home, respected our parents, did the things that we love, and were able to share that with community. Everything that we learned at home, we shared with community. Whether it was a next door neighbor or somebody across the city, if they knew me, they knew my parents. And they looked at my parents as though they were
Their
parents. Like, seriously. And today they still do the same things because, as we should in all communities, if you have the knowledge, the information of certain things, you should share them with other people because there are so many broken households, families in general. If we can give to them the things that we have, then it'll make the world a better place.
I remember when I was younger, they had friends who would come over to the house. Didn't want to go home. Wanted to stay at our house. I said, ask your mom. They used to come, they still up, some of them coming up. My kids are in their 40s and 30s now. Still got friends that call me Pop. Mom and Pop. They call us Mom and Pop. Where I live at now, my grandkids, my granddaughter's friends see me, hey, Pop, Pop. And they still do. I be walking outside now, walking the dog. Hey, Pop, Pop. How you doing, Pop, Pop? I said, I'm good.
I want to skip back a little bit more, talking about your upbringing, because you said you grew up in a household, it was 8 of y'all kids. Do you remember just living in a house full of 8 siblings? How was that?
It was like this. When Mom said dinner, you better be there or you won't get to eat.
So if you didn't get to eat, what did you do?
I waited till they went to sleep and made me some toast.
Like, we always had food. I don't think I ever struggled for food growing up. I mean, my parents may have struggled to get us food, but I didn't know that. Growing up in a household with 8 kids, I'm sure that there was nights when the parents were like, I'm not getting the biggest plate. They had to feed their children. Can you tell me more about your siblings? Because I know my aunts and uncles, and I know that you're at an age 66 years old. A lot has changed over the years. And I want to give this time to give each one of them just a moment of honor, seriously, because I know you love them with your heart, with your soul, because I know I do.
Well, like I said, it was 8 of us. My older sister, Sarah, she's no longer with us. She done passed on back in 2012. My oldest brother, George, he's 70 right now. He's doing okay for himself. My sister, Diane, she's 68. She lost her husband about 4 years ago, but she's doing okay. Yep, old Huck. Then it's my brother, Bo. He's going through dialysis right now, too. He's been on it about a month. But he calls me every day. He called me today and see how I was doing. He calls me every day. I told him, I said, man, you'll be okay. Just do what you're supposed to. You'll be okay. He be asking me, how did you go through that for 6 years? I said, hey, I had God on my side. Other than that, hey. And my family was behind me 100%. My wife and my kids, everybody. You know, and plus I had a sister that was on it. My brother-in-law, and they, you know, I learned from them. They told me what to expect. Then I got a sister, Gloria. She just turned 65. You know, she just had a stroke not too long ago, but she's come along. She's doing okay. My baby sister, Stella, she passed in 2018 because she was on dialysis. But, you know, I miss my baby sister, though. She told me one day, I don't want to do this no more. She said, bro, I'm tired. You know, her kids was crying. She said, don't cry. She said, I'm all right. She said, I'm all right. She said, I'll be looking down on y'all. She said, I'll be okay. Don't worry about me.
Even today, knowing that so many people in our family that has passed, like it still affects us. And just as a family, communities, I know that often we don't come together and talk about these things, but it is a part of healing. Just to know that you have kids, you have grandchildren, great-grandchildren that don't know a lot of the history. They don't know a lot of the things that brought them here today. And if they were to know a bit of that, then it would help them, because they would know that they have more fight than the fight that they have for themselves. But if they were able to get some of that knowledge of their grandparents that fought for their parents and did everything they could to keep them here in this world, like my parents have, then those kids, those young adults equally, they wouldn't become a product of their environment. And many of them have been. We can still today change a lot of the rhetoric, what is incarceration, drug abuse, by just having general conversations. Conversations, they can alter and change the outcome. Just to move forward, I know you have one more sibling with your mother and father together. That's my Uncle Link.
Daryl. He lives in Germany.
He's been there since, 1980,
1983.
83. Yeah, he's been there my entire lifetime. Last summer he was here and we had a conversation, and he was telling me about how upset he is with America and healthcare, because I was telling him how much it costs just to stay alive here, how much I have to pay into insurance and for prescriptions and whatnot. And he was like, he told me, it's like, that is BS. He's like, in Germany, we don't have to pay anything. We have coverage for persons that are living with chronic health conditions. Without this coverage, you'll be just struggling to find the means of staying alive. I said, I know. I talk to people about it every day. And every day it's a struggle for many people that I see just to stay alive. It's a reality. Now, you have 4 other siblings?
Yeah, I got 4 other siblings. It's 3 now. My brother Butch, he just died Tuesday on the day before Valentine's Day. He was 64. He had kidney cancer, and it just spread it. It took him away quick.
I don't really remember him being so small, but he had to have been real small, because if this was 91, my older brother was 13 going on 14. Josh had this sweatsuit, this black sweatsuit. It had a collar. I don't know why. It was like Perry Ellis or something. And he had these black shoes with this metal tip in the front. And I remember Uncle Butch wearing them. I don't know if he ever gave them back. But yeah, he must have been a little guy.
He gave the suit back, but he kept the shoes.
He must have really loved them.
I remember Josh saying, "Dad, where my shoes at?" I said, "They're darn Butch."
Yeah, I remember I last saw him, I want to say 2018 maybe?
2018.
Yeah, that's the last time I saw him. As I said, we honoring everybody, whether they're living or have passed on, because in the spirit of everything, we're still here doing everything we can to keep our family whole. Your parents, what did they do for a living?
My dad was a mechanic. My mom stayed at home, took care of us while my dad worked. He worked in Philadelphia at this place called Milkmaid Dairies. He was the only mechanic I knew went to work with a suit on and a tie.
Was it part of the job or just part of his?
That was his uniform. He would get to work, put his coveralls on. Only time he went out when they needed him. He had people work under him. He was a truck mechanic.
But did he wear the suit and tie because he wanted to? Or was it part of his?
No, because he wanted to. He was a preacher, remember that. He was a reverend.
Okay,
so he kept that image up.
Right, he had to upstand who he was, and it wasn't just by word, his physical appearance also. So when people saw him, whether it was in Delaware, Philadelphia, Jersey, they always saw him dressed to represent who he was, and everyone probably respected him.
But like this, my mom and dad had, mom will say 12 kids, but he had 1,000 coming up. I mean, when we was coming up on the west side, north side, no matter where we lived at, the kids would always want to come over. When we moved, people moved to Chester, wherever. When we moved, they always want to come over our house. We had so many kids over our house. It was one thing about it, my mom and dad didn't turn nobody down. My mom used to cook dinner. Here they come. Can I stay for dinner? My mom said, call your mom and tell her. Everybody came over our house.
I know, because y'all had the band.
We had the band.
Choir.
Hey.
I've seen photos of them in their full robes playing guitars, and I just found out recently that my dad was a
trombone player.
He was a trombonist. He played the trombone. I never knew my entire lifetime. One of my cousins had asked me. They were like, my dad played the guitar, Uncle Mick played the guitar, the girls sang. What did your dad do? And I said, I don't know.
The trombonist.
I don't know. And I asked him, I said, today, if you had a trombone in front of you, would you know how to play it?
Yes, I would.
Where'd you learn how to play the trombone?
School. I took it up in school.
From like elementary? Did you take band in high school and stuff too?
High school. I didn't take it in elementary, because elementary we ain't had no trombone. I was like 9th grade.
9th grade with the trombone, walking around with the big case.
I'm telling you.
Look, were you embarrassed at all walking around with that case?
No, because the girls liked it that. There was a girl magnet.
Look, it's a big change, because I remember being in elementary, middle school, and I didn't even want to wear glasses to school. because
Me neither.
it was just like, why do I have to wear glasses? Why? And I kept them for years in my book bag until maybe like 8th grade. I started wearing them regularly.
Remember, I used to wear my glasses 7th, 8th grade. 4 eyes. I broke my glasses so I wouldn't have to wear them.
I never did that because I knew my parents probably paid for those glasses, and I didn't.
My mom and dad. So
I
where
didn't
your
want to
glasses
do
at?
anything to disappoint y'all.
Where your glasses? I said, they broke. So my dad took me, got some more. Every time I see you, you better have them on.
Y'all had a band and a choir. Did y'all actually go anywhere and sing or perform?
Yeah, we had the name on the side of our bus. I ain't gonna say the name, but we had the name on the side of. We had a big old yellow school bus my dad bought. We used to take that bus to Virginia. Huh?
I said, this is new news. I did not know this.
Yeah, we used to take that bus to Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Jersey. The whole church used to go because my pop was a pastor. He had his own church. So when he went to preach, everybody in the church would go. And we get on the bus, go to Virginia. He used to take us to it wasn't even big like it is now. Clementon Park in New Jersey. Take the whole church there. People were following their cars, but everybody and they would love it. Kids would come to church for Sunday school because they knew we went on trips. We went to Dorney Park, Hershey Park. Had a place in Pennsylvania called Six Gun Territory. That's there no longer. It was an amusement park.
You said Six Gun Territory?
6 Gun Territory.
In Pennsylvania?
Yep. It's up near, I think it's up in near Allentown it used to be.
So that would be like Dorney Park area?
Yeah, 6 Gun Territory.
It might be the same area.
I always remember that. He used to have church picnics. He would put signs out. Anybody. My sister and them used to walk around and put the signs on a pole. Church picnic, everybody come. My dad didn't care.
And he supplied food and everything
for everybody. Everybody. That's how it was back then. My dad used to tell you hungry, come on over, I'll feed you.
A lot of things have changed over the years.
He didn't turn my dad. One thing about my mom and dad, he turned no one down. But the thing I didn't like about it is on the holidays, the whole church come over. The grown-ups eat before the kids. By the time they finish eating, we ain't got no food. They ate up everything.
And it's still that way. Like, going to different family events. And I always think about that. Why are the grown-ups eating before the kids?
Right,
I can see, like, if a grown-up has a medical condition and they need to eat immediately or whatnot. But when you consider, like, the kids are the ones that are young and need the nourishments and everything, the kids have all the adrenaline and stuff. They need to be calmed down. But the grown-ups always get the food first. But I wouldn't change that for anything because it's a part of...
tradition.
Yeah, part of tradition. Some traditions help build us, help make us who we are.
And I remember coming up, my mom called us to dinner. It was one food none of us ate. Liver. I remember she cooked liver. We had this dog named Shorty. I'll never forget this to this day. Everybody had liver on the plate. My dad turned his head, liver was gone. He said, y'all ate all that liver? We said, yes.
Oh, y'all ate it together at the same time?
No, he said, y'all ate that liver? We said, yeah. He heard the dog under the table smacking. He looked under the table, the dog wouldn't eat the liver. He licked the gravy off of it. My dad said, pick the liver up, eat it. We was like, man, please.
Speaking of your dad, I know that...
Big George.
Speaking of your dad, I know I've never ever had this conversation with you, and I've always wondered about it. The year was 1976. You graduated from high school. As soon as you graduated from high school, you went off into the military.
I graduated June the 7th, June the 10th, I was gone.
I know that 1976, probably one of the greatest transitions in your life.
It was. It was, because I was grown then. I was 18. I said, I'm leaving home. And I ain't never left home before like that. I was scared, but hey, I made the best of it. I remember I used to call my mom up. I was stationed in Georgia. I said, Mom, I'm coming home. What you coming home? I don't like this. She said, stay there, stay there. So I stayed.
Big George, what year did he pass?
1976, January 24th.
January 24th. So about 5.5 months later, you were gone.
Yep.
Did your dad's passing give you drive?
Yep. That's why I went in the service. I said, hey, even though my dad not here, but I want him to be proud of me. And I know he was. I know my mom was. My mom was happy. She cried. My mom was so happy. Because I think if I haven't went in the service, I don't know what I would have did. I don't know what I would have did.
The service actually did a service for you.
Yes, it helped me out.
It helped you probably mature faster.
Yeah, because after my dad passed, I started hanging out with the wrong people, stealing out of stores. I started doing all kinds of bad stuff. Drinking. And when I could see it in my mom's face, she didn't like that. Smoking cigarettes, my mom didn't like it.
More so you coping because, I mean, there was no true therapeutic measures.
No, but not back then.
There was no psychotherapists, counselors, peer counselors. You may have had a school counselor, but school counselors are not the same as therapists, people who actually study the human brain and the psychosis that can help you learn from not only your mistakes, but learn from your lived experience and challenge you to actually do better. January 24th, you said 1976.
Yep.
What was it that your father actually passed from?
Cancer.
Do you remember what kind?
No.
30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, a lot of the death certificates would just have like one thing. It'll just say like cancer.
Yep, that's it.
But they don't say specific what they were, because especially for people of color, it's crazy because now when we know what different therapeutic measures have done for us today that help basically keep us alive, a lot of those measurable things for black and brown people were skipped due to them not even believing that we could face and fight certain chronic health conditions. So that's why I say today to people that look like me, do not settle for the diagnosis. Fight and keep fighting, because the moment you decide to give up, even if it's for a second, there's no going back from that. You can't say, okay, today I'll give up and decide not to go to dialysis. Then the next day, after the next 2 days, you decide not to go again. By this time next week, you're at a stage where there's no going back. Basically, no reversing. So I know that if people were given the chance and the opportunity to continue to live, that's what they're going to take. Like my grandparents. Today I learned more about them than I've ever known in my life. Big George, he's a man of community. He's a man of the people. He did everything he could for his family. Grandma Margaret did equally.
Did the same thing.
Because I guarantee if he was a man doing so much for his community, she was making sure that her babies at home felt the love.
Yep. She was right behind him. He go out here, she be right behind him. There's one thing about them too. Hey, they ain't want to see no kids starve, no kids struggle. I remember days kids used to come over our house, shoes hanging off their feet. There was this store on the east side of Wilmington called Atlantic Thrift. He would put them in his car, take them there, and buy them a pair of sneakers. Yes, he would.
Now, did y'all ever look at him like, Dad, I want another pair of sneakers?
He would get us some too. Mm-hmm. They was only like $2.99.
Okay.
Atlantic Thrift. They was called BBs, Bobos. Yes, he would.
Cost $1.99.
They clothes ragged. He would buy them clothes. He would feed them. I remember he used to put everybody in his car, take us down to Brandywine Park. That's when they had a zoo down there back then. He'd go down there, put his little grill in the car, go down there and barbecue for everybody. I mean, the kids, they.
And that's kind of a tradition that your family had continued for many years. But we used to have summer barbecues at Brandywine Park.
Yep.
I remember them like they were yesterday.
Sure did. I remember when my dad died. For his funeral was so packed. I mean, packed. People had to stand up. People was outside. That's how packed it was. I mean, people were sad. They was happy at the same time, though, because, hey, even though he was young, he lived this life. He didn't accomplish all, but he accomplished what he had to do.
1976, so he was what, 49?
Huh?
How old was he, about 49? 47. 46 going on 47.
46.
46 going
Died
on
at
47.
a young age. 46.
Yeah, that's very young.
Yes.
But I know he raised a tribe of y'all, and I'm sure that today he'd be extremely proud of the tribe he's raised, and I'm sure that he's welcoming all of y'all with open arms to come meet with him again so y'all can relive this life again.
My dad knew he was dying. He called all of us in the room. He said, take care of each other. That's what he told us. Take care of your mom. He said, y'all make sure you take care of your mom. He said, look out for each other and take care. We said, okay. That same day he said that, an hour later he was gone. January was cold outside with about 12 inches of snow, maybe 2 feet. On a Saturday, I'd never forget that. Never, ever, ever.
And when he told y'all to take care of each other, take care of your mom, just know that doesn't mean to only take care of yourself then. It's a lifetime.
It's for life.
It's a lifetime.
For life.
Even, as siblings, as peers, you go through different, like I said, trials and tribulations, and the journey that you take to get to that end result. I've seen your smiles. I've seen y'all laugh. I've seen y'all argue. I've seen y'all fight. But I know at the end of the day, when that knock is at the door, you're going to always welcome your siblings in.
Always.
Because
I ain't got nothing against them.
As I tell my siblings, and I've always told them that, and I teach my children this as well, your siblings are the closest thing to you. So some of the thoughts you have, they have them also. Some of the illnesses and ailments you go through, they may go through also. Some of the emotional things that you go through, they may go through them also.
See, like your brothers and sisters, like my son said, that's family. I remember coming up, we talk about each other. We family. But I tell you what, nobody else better not talk about them. Nobody else better not come up and talk about my brother or sister.
Right.
We didn't play that.
And that's the same way with me. I may talk about my brother and sister, but I've always told them, don't ever talk about me to other people.
That's right.
Because
don't do that.
Don't ever do that, because
that's
the love that I have for you is unexplainable. Like
that's right.
No one will ever understand it, because it's like so much. I love me equally to I love you. Like, I will do any and everything on this earth and beyond so that my siblings can be the best that they can be. And it's not something that I was taught. It's something that I saw, something that was embedded in me. Because, like I said, my parents, they may not have spoken about these things, but it was more so actions. They made sure that we stayed close, that we stayed together. And I know that I embody that. Like, I have to make sure that I stay close to them.
I remember coming up, say my sister got in a fight, or my brother got in a fight. We come home. My dad said, what happened to you? He said, I hope that person's still laying on the ground. We look at him like, what are you talking about? He said, I hope y'all all jumped him. We look at each other like, he said, if they're not, y'all better go. He make us march right back down there. My dad said, hey, if one of y'all can come, all of y'all better come in here beat up. Well, that person better be laying on the ground.
You got to handle your business.
Yep, that's what he used to tell us.
And your siblings are your business.
That's right. That's what he told us. Y'all better not go home so y'all got in a fight and beat up. He said, it's too many of y'all.
Mm-hmm. As we wind down, you told me you couldn't talk for 10 minutes. I told you I have a gift of holding conversations, and that's what I do best.
That's what I do. You take after me.
Well, he been saying that since day one.
When I'm in dialysis, let me tell you something. Them people love me in there. When I went back Friday, After my brother had passed, I got about 100 cards. I got about 20 cards in my book bag I didn't even look at. You okay? You need anything? Let me know. I'm telling you, that's how they do me there.
That gives a big transition to how I wanted to end this. Do you remember my birth at all?
I was there.
I know, but I've never heard the story.
I was there.
Do you remember? You remember my birth?
Yes.
That whole process. How did that make you feel, or explain to me at all that process and how it made you feel and all of those things? Because I'm your junior, and I know that as a father, every and anything that I do is a direct image of you. It's a direct reflection of you. And I know that if I'm doing certain things of care, of love, of feeling of emotion, I know that it comes from somewhere, and I've never had that conversation.
It comes from me. When you was younger.
I've never had that conversation, but as we both grow older, I just want to know more about me coming here to this world.
What you want to know?
Anything you could tell me.
All I can tell you is this. You was born January 18th. You was born in Germany. The day you was born, I had just got off of work. I come in the house. Your mom sitting in the chair. I said, "What's wrong with you?" Face all frowned up. She said, "I think I'm in labor." We had no car. I had to call the cab. We was riding in the cab to the hospital. We got you there in Bad Kreuznach, Germany. We got you there. The doctor examined her. Said, "Oh, we got to get you to the main hospital, right?" Too late. By the time we get you to the main hospital, it was too late. "Oh, we're going to have a baby right here." You was born in BK Hospital. You came out. I was so proud of you, man. You just don't know. I had tears in my. I was so proud of you. The doctor said, "It's a boy." I said, "I knew what it was." But your mom didn't. We didn't know we was having no boy, but I knew. So the doctor said, "You got to say, what y'all gonna name?" I said, "That's Willie Jr." I told your mom. I said, "That's me. That's Willie Jr. Little squeal." That's what I said. And when you was coming up, you was like me in so many ways, man. You wasn't scared to talk to people. I found that out about in Germany at the sandbox. You throwing worms on people. You was not scared of you like me. You were not scared to talk to no one. You was out there having conversation with grown-ups. That's where your son get it from. I mean, you would talk. I mean, we take you places. You be sitting there, I'd be like, and you still like that, going through school and all of that. Elementary school, I used to go to conferences. The teachers used to tell me that he's a joy to have in class. I wonder where he get that from. I said, "You looking at him."
I know from day one, as far back as I can remember, I've had leadership qualities, and I know that anything that I've ever wanted to do in this life, anything I've put my mind and my heart to, I do them. And not only do I do them well, I exceed. And like I said, that's a part of my upbringing, because I saw the leadership qualities and what my dad did in our community. They called him the mayor. Like, he was the mayor of our block, every block we lived on.
I'm telling you.
And I know that from my birth, day one, like, I can recall dating back my earliest memory, the day that my younger brother was born. And I recall that day like it was yesterday, because I remember seeing my dad in a panic that I don't think I've ever seen before. I think my mom was basically about to push the baby out in the living room. I was 3 years old. I remember next door neighbor, Miss Vernell, having to stand there with her and me just crying as two men, white men, load my mom and my dad in the back of an ambulance. And I'm just standing there crying. And like, I don't know why that's my first memory. I always tell my little brother, like, probably because he's the greatest gift that ever came to me, I guess. But it's just, I can see my dad there. And I don't remember my dad saying a word, speaking, until they're about to leave. And he's told me that I'm going to be okay. And I remember actually going with my dad to the hospital to see my little brother and my mom. We stopped somewhere downtown and got some breakfast for my mom. And
Libby's.
I don't know if it was a regular bus or if it was like one of those hospital transport buses, but I remember going to the hospital that day and seeing my mom and my little brother like it was yesterday. And that's just a memory of a 3-year-old.
Cause you was crying, I want mom.
I did want my mom.
I said, come on, we'll go see her.
I still want my mom.
I said, we'll go see her.
I still want my mom. I'm always want my mom. Like you want your mom, right?
I wish I could.
Yep.
June the 6th.
I believe, well, I'm not sure. I know we came home that April. Is that when it was?
Yep. No, we came home in May. That's why we came home.
And I don't know, like, was I here when my grandma actually passed?
Yeah.
See, I always had in my mind that I came here after she passed.
No, we was here.
But I was here, so I was able to actually see my grandmother.
We came home in May. She passed in June. I took you out to the hospital. Christiana Hospital. But no, she didn't die at the hospital. She didn't want to stay there. She knew the doctor told us wasn't nothing we can do, and she said right then, I won't take me home. She died on a Sunday. We was all at the house.
See, I did not know that until just now.
We was all at the house on a Sunday. I never forget that.
Because I always wondered, I said, I was 2 years old. I said, did I ever get to meet my grandmother?
That's the first time you seen her. That's because you was born in Germany. No, we had came home, but you had just turned a year old. Because my grandmom died January the 20th, and we came home.
January 20th, January 24th, and I'm born January 18th.
Yep.
Must be in the cards.
I remember that. She died January the 20th. We all came home. You was old little teeny thing. You had just started walking. In
this podcast, we speak a lot about our own history, and we talk about chronic health conditions, but we talk about how we lived through, and we continue doing the things we can to fight through them. March 10th, 2003, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I've never told my dad this, but I directly want to thank you for saving my life. Not only giving me life, but saving my life. Because I remember that morning, I walked into the living room and I told you that I cannot go to sleep. I can't stop using the bathroom. I'm so thirsty. I'm so dehydrated. I just feel so drained. And you were sitting on the couch and you just looked at me and you said, you got diabetes. And I didn't question it at all. But I do recall when we got into the hospital, because during that time, a lot of my memory during that time is like faded because of the high glucose in my blood. But I remember hopping on the scale, and at that time, I had lost 1/4 of my body weight. I was regular 180 pounds, and I hopped on the scale, and it was 144 pounds. And I remember looking over to my dad, and him being in a chair, and him having his hands on his chin. And I've always wondered if that was like, if that moment felt like almost like the opposite of my birth. Because when a child is born, you look at them and you see the world of opportunity, and you dream and you think of everything that child is going to do. And when your child is faced with chronic illness or something like you have no control over, that was the first time in my life that you had no control over.
I was worried about you, man.
That was the first time in my life you had no control over.
I knew what I went through when I found out. But see, when I found out, I knew too. I was the same way you was, running back and forth to the bathroom, thirsty. I knew what it was. That was me, but then look at you, I was like, oh, Lord, no. That was like, oh, no.
And, I wanted to end this on this note. I wanted to tell you that your diabetes had nothing to do with my own diabetes.
No.
Because I see regularly online parents like who do have diabetes, and they say like, I hope my child never gets this or whatever, but there's no correlation, no relation between type 1 and type 2 at all. And nothing that you did at all triggered my onset. If I would have been tested at 2 years old, I would have had the autoantibodies that would have said that at some point in time during my lifetime, I would have caught type 1 diabetes.
But when I was coming up, my mom was diabetic.
Right.
And we think our dad was too, but they never, we think he was too.
Yeah, it took many years for people of color to be recognized as even being able to get diabetes.
I had so many people in my family, my mom's side of the family, aunts, uncles, that's what they died of.
Right.
But there was no treatment.
And there was treatment, but it wasn't readily available to people of color.
Right.
1922 was the advent of insulin. You have little kids in the University of Toronto that were woken up from being in a comas, from being able to get insulin. It took decades after that before the first person of color was able to get insulin. I want to thank you again for my life, for my continued life. I think we're going to end this on that note. Is there anything you want to let them know before we out?
No. I'm all right.
Thank you. Please subscribe, follow, and download Chronically Will Podcast on all podcast streaming platforms. The podcast is also available on YouTube. Don't forget to follow on Instagram at Chronically Will Podcast for future updates. On that note, we're out.